dear students. Today we are going to discuss education as social heritage. Before going through this lecture, first let's have a look on its objectives. Number 1, to familiarize learners with the meaning of education. Number 2, to enable them to know what is social heritage. Number 3, to enable the students to understand the aspects of education. And number 4, to aware them about the social functions of education. First, let's discuss meaning of education. The term education has different meanings. Each person interprets the word in terms of his past experience, his needs and purposes. The parents, the teachers, administrators, religious leaders, politicians, and artists interpret the term education in their own ways. For example, to a student, education means acquisition of knowledge, receiving a degree or a diploma. A statesman may claim that it means to train individuals as ideal citizens. A teacher may interpret education as means for creation of a new man and a new society. The meaning of education differs from place to place and from time to time. It has passed through many aids and states of evolution. At every stage, it has had a different meaning according to existing social conditions. The term education is derived from the Latin word educare, which means to lead out, to bring forth, or to draw out the latent powers of a child. Conforming to this meaning, Durkheim defined education as the action exercised by the older generations upon those who are not yet ready for social life. Its object is to awaken and develop in the child those physical, intellectual, and moral states which are required of him both by his society as a whole. Hence, education may be broadly regarded as the way in which people learn to take part in the life of society in which they live. Education is the social process by which individual learns the things necessary to fit him to the social life of a society. Education is primarily deliberate learning which fits the individual for his adult role in the society. It is a deliberate instruction throughout which we acquire a large part of our social and technical skills. Accordingly, Lowy says, it's as old as organized social life. Schooling is merely a highly specialized form of education. It is again believed that the term education is derived from the Latin word educatum, which means the act of teaching or training. Thus, education is both acquisition of knowledge or art of teaching and learning of values, norms, and skills. Education as a system, first of all, may be viewed as a part of the total social system. It both reflects the influence, the social and cultural order of which it is a part. However, in modern society, education is viewed as formal training. As A.W. Green writes, historically, it has meant the conscious training of the young for the later adoption of adult roles. By modern convention, however, education has come to mean formal training by specialists within the formal organization of the school. Education, according to Western scholars, is deliberate and organized activity through which the physical, intellectual, moral, and spiritual potentialities of the child are developed, both in individual, as an individual, and also as a member of the society, so that he may lead the fullest and richest life possible in this world. All practical aims such as the development of character, the attainment of knowledge, both for use and enjoyment, the acquisition of skills, the making of worthy citizen, and others that have been proposed from time to time are subordinate to the ultimate aim in life. The educational system may be viewed as a subsystem within social organization of its own. It has a system of status and roles, a body of skills, values, and traditions. Each school and each classroom within the school forms an interacting group. Now, dear students, let's discuss social heritage. Social heritage refers to the history and cultural identities of people in a particular region. It includes physical elements such as monuments, documents. It also includes oral traditions, customs, folklore, language, music, dance, celebrations, and special skills. Social heritage is the entire inherited pattern of cultural activity present in a society. Social heritage refers to the history and cultural identities of people in a particular region. The principal aims of existing social heritage programs and services include: Number 1. Facilitating interactive public programming. Number 2. Management of cultural collections and heritage facilities. The social heritage strategy will address the current issues and serve to provide direction for developing future social heritage programs. Dear students, let's discuss aspects of education. Now we can indicate several sociological aspects of education. Let's begin with learning as a creative experience. Learning is a creative experience. When a man responds to stimuli, he acts in a creative manner. In other words, education is a creative act for the learner. Now we'll discuss education as two ways of learning. Education is of two ways of learning, such as informal education and formal education. The first serves continuously through the life as mechanism for learning as well as for reinforcing previous learning. Formal education is a socially devised technique, a highly elaborated procedure for creating situations in which the pupil may learn. We now come to education as preparation for life. Education is both the living of life and a preparation for life. Preparation for life involves capacity to earn a livelihood, capacity to enrich one's life through enjoyment of the cultural heritage, capacity to function efficiently and constructively as a member of society. Education is interpreted in two senses. Education is interpreted in narrow and broader sense. Education in a narrow sense is a planned, organized, and formalized process. It is imparted at a particular place and at a definite time. Its curriculum is also formal. In a narrow sense, education is limited to classroom. In broader sense, education is not related to schooling or teaching. Each and every individual acquires some sort of education even he has never spent a day in school, because his acquired characteristics are the products of experience and activities which are the products of experiences and activities which are educational in nature. Education in a wider sense is used for the purpose of teaching people all characteristics which will enable them to live in the society. Education is a continuous process. Education of human being begins at birth and it ends with his death. He learns throughout his life. There is no end to it. Education is much more than schooling. The child goes on reconstructing his experience throughout the whole life. Instruction ends in the classroom, but education ends only with life. Now, dear students, let's discuss social functions of education. Education as a social institution plays a vital role in our society. The function of education is multidimensional within the school system and outside it. It performs the function of socializing the individual for a variety of social roles and development of personality. It's also an important part of the control mechanisms of society. Education is a necessity right from the simple society to a modern, complex industrial society. Socialization. The most important function of education is socialization. The people have no knowledge about the culture of their society. They must learn them and they must learn the way their society is functioning. Hence, the children, as they grow up, must be introduced into the culture which they are going to face. Society therefore provides a conscious teaching program to inculcate values, norms, and social skills that will fit the individuals for their adult roles in society. Society creates educational institutions such as schools and colleges to perform certain functions in accomplishing this general end. Besides providing the children with tools of knowledge, how to write, spell, and master arithmetic, the school also exposes them to social norms and values beyond those which are available for learning in the family and other groups. Though people learn a great deal from the parents or in clubs and among groups of friends, they learn more of the culture of their society through educational system. In the educational institutions, the young are exposed to social norms and values beyond those which are available for learning in the family and other social groups. Development of personality. Education plays an important role in the development of personality. The object of education, as said Durkheim, is to awaken and develop in the child those physical, intellectual, and moral states which are required of him both by society as a whole and by the milieu for which he is specially designed. Education helps the developments of the qualities of an individual, such as physical, mental, and emotional makeup, as well as his temperament and character. The self, the core of personality, develops out of the child's interaction with others. Subsequently, the habits, traits, attitudes, and ideals of an individual is patterned by the process of education. A learner's personality is also developed indirectly when he is encouraged to form his own attitudes and values by studying outstanding people in history and literature. Moreover, a learner is also influenced by the outlook and attitudes of fellow students and teachers. Social control. Education plays a vital role in regulating individual behavior through transmitting a way of life and communicating ideas and values to the new generations. One way that education contributes to the regulations of social conduct, says Baltimore, is the early socialization of the child. In order to transmit its social heritage and survive as a social order, all societies develop educational systems to train its younger generations. The young must be consciously trained for the adult roles to maintain the society. Through the process of education, society regulates the behavior of its members and enforces conformity to its norms. Education, in a broad sense, as says Baltimore, from infancy to adulthood, is thus a vital means of social control. Formal education in modern societies communicates ideas and values which play a part in regulating behavior. The new generations are instructed to observe the social norms, the violation of which may invite punishment. Social integration. Education, by imparting values, also integrates people into the broader society. The curriculum of the school, its extracurricular activities, and the informal relationship among students and teachers communicate certain values and social skills such as cooperation or team spirit, obedience, fair play. Determination of status. Determination of status of an individual is an important function of education. Amount of education is a good indicator of socio-economic status from lower working class to upper working class. Education leads to economic opportunity. It's through education young people secure higher status jobs than their parents. With higher incomes, they come to associate with the persons of higher status. Thus, education provides the channel to better socio-economic status. Provides route for social mobility. Educational qualifications increasingly form the basis for the allocation of individuals to social statuses and social mobility. There has been steady move from one status to other due to educational attainment. An industrial society like United States or Great Britain places increasing emphasis on the attainment of both of the skills acquired in elementary, secondary, and higher education, and of the educational credentials that a person has acquired the skills for a job. The educational system is expected to provide opportunity for social and economic mobility by selecting and training the most able and industrious youth for higher status positions in a society. The educational system places those with the greater abilities and training in higher positions, and those with lesser abilities and training in lower ones. Thus, education tends to generate vertical social mobility by increasing their earning power and by preparing them for higher status occupation than that of their parents. Social development. Skills and values learned in education are directly related to the way to which the economy and the occupational structure operate. Education trains the individuals in skills that are required by the economy. In modern planned economy, the output of skilled people must be consciously geared to the economic and social priorities of the society. This explains the vital role of education in social development. Literacy, for example, stimulates economic and social development, and that is why all developing countries have undertaken large-scale literacy programs. Literacy increases political consciousness among poor people who now organize themselves into various forms of organization. With this, I conclude today's lecture, Education as a Social Heritage. Hope you have enjoyed today's session. For now, it's time to say goodbye. Stay blessed.